Sometimes you just find things like this while boondocking. I suppose it is poachers, because this is a national park, so hunting here is not allowed. But they may kill an animal and they just take the meat and they drive away. Hello! It is full of cicadas around here, and they're so much fun, I think. I have some notes with me because I don't want to forget anything, and this is going to be a video that is going to be a little bit of a puzzle, and I have to put all those pieces together for you. And today we are going to talk about all the parking options you have when you're a nomad. And that is important because, hey, yes, I understand many people go to campgrounds and they pay 20, 30, 50, 100 or 100 and more dollars a night to stay there. And I understand some of those $150 a night campgrounds, yeah, of course, I mean, all of them, they give you electricity, video cable, no, cable TV, sorry, wow, I'm old, and you can also empty your tanks and all those good things. I get it, it's a service they provide and they charge you for the service, and some of them are located in beautiful spots. I remember I watched a video of one of them. It was in somewhere in California on the coast, and each rig is facing the ocean. Beautiful. I don't have $150 a night to stay there, so I have to become resourceful and find free places. And because they are free, they come with a couple of things that you have to be aware of, and that is what I want to share with you today. To begin with, when you start this type of life, in the very beginning, there is that fear of, ugh, I'm going to be in the middle of nowhere. How do I know I will be safe? So what my reaction was to that fear was, okay, I'm not going to have anything between my seat and the other seat. I'm going to have that space open, so if anything happens during the night, I can walk by that space and sit on my seat and drive away. In the end, after trying walking over there, since the van is, of course, it's a limited space vehicle, I noticed that walking through those spaces is not that easy. The easiest thing is to put my feet straight on the seat and kind of slide in. Of course, one of my legs always gets stuck somewhere, so I have to bring it over because, I don't know, if you have shorter legs, maybe it's going to be easier. But passing to the front seat was my first response to that fear of what happens if something happens and I need to drive away in the middle of the night. So to me, being able to pass to the front seat was the first thing, which was also the deciding factor not to have a trailer. Because if you have a trailer, I thought, and you're sleeping in the trailer and something happens, you have to come out of the trailer, walk to your vehicle, get in there, and start driving. So if it is a bear that is trying to open your trailer, I don't know if that ever happened to anybody, but still, in my imagination, I figured every possible scenario. So that was my first thing. Today, I could have a trailer, but just as a living room and a kitchen, so I can cook something more elaborate and maybe, I don't know, just sit there in a living room, like having a nice chair or something, you know. That is probably something I could entertain today after a year and a half of ruminating. But passing to the front seat was a priority indeed. And when it comes to places where you can park, we have discussed before Walmart. They're getting a little bit tighter with the acceptance of travelers. And it depends on the town. Usually the most strict Walmarts I have found are around Seattle, around San Francisco, around those big cities where there is homelessness. And because they don't want to take the time to make the difference between you as a nomad and a well-behaved person or a homeless person that will trash the place, they're just starting to put up these signs that say no overnight parking. I think I told you that I was in Wyoming and I saw those signs, but there were so many people there, and I had the conversation with a police officer and he said, sure, fine, you can stay, that's not a problem. That was nice, but that is not the norm. Walmart is closing its doors to us, and that brings me to so much free land we are also losing access to because of people who don't behave, people who trash the places, and those are not nomads. You can talk about homeless people with mental health issues, yeah, but in many cases it's just careless people. Yesterday I saw a car with a big bag with a pizza box and juice boxes or something by the wheel. The reason why they leave them there is because they are going to drive away and leave it there. And the trash can, a huge container, was less than half a block away. They could have walked there and put it in. No, they don't. They just leave it in the parking lot. And that is why we are losing credibility. Those who live on the road. On the other hand, when rangers see us, the ones that are careful, picking up garbage, they really appreciate that because they know we do that. You know, I use Compendium a lot to find places relatively close to cities, and they show with a pink circle those parking places where you can go at night and park there. I remember I used to see many that would reference Walmart, but again, those ones are going away. Cracker Barrel is still there, and I like Cracker Barrel, If it is late at night and I don't have food in my fridge, I can always go and have dinner with them and then park in the back of their building, or all the way around have breakfast with them just to say thank you. But here in Flagstaff, what I noticed is that the back of the building gets absolutely crowded, and it's big. But I counted more than 30 big Class A's, Class C's, Class B, and minivans and cars. And many of them, some of them, you can tell they belong to homeless people. But the vast majority of them, they are not. And they are there. When I park at a Cracker Barrel, because it is a business, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I get dressed, I take all my window covers down, and I drive away. 6:30, 7 at the latest. I drive away. I go to a park and I have my breakfast there. But I leave the premises because it's a business. I don't want to bother them. And it happened that one day I had to drive at about 1 p.m. by Cracker Barrel, and the back of their building was still full of many of those Class B's and Class C's and Class A's. They were still there, and they were walking and talking to each other, using their generators, which they use also during the night, but it's okay, I got used to that one. Really, they use it as a campground. That is what is making us lose those places, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cracker Barrel starts closing that capacity for us to stay at a safe place, just because some people abuse. Just that. Another place that is interesting is Planet Fitness, the ones that are open 24/7. Be careful with that. Some Planet Fitness are closing for the night, and of course you don't want to stay there because it's obvious you're not in there exercising. But while the club is open, nobody can tell if you're sleeping in your van or you're inside exercising, so nobody's going to bother you. What I don't like of sleeping at a Planet Fitness is that it's extremely noisy, because cars come and go every so many minutes, every 20 minutes or so. A car parks next to you and they come out of the car talking and laughing and blah blah blah, and then it's just noisy. I was in one of them where a drug dealer parked next to me, and everybody was coming to buy things from him. Oh no, that was a Camping World. But the same thing may happen to you in Planet Fitness, because they know lots of people come and go there at night. But if you don't have any other option, you can still use some earplugs and have a nice night somewhere safe. Hospitals are another resource you may have. Let's say you have been driving all day and you get to a town and you don't know much, and but there is a hospital and they do have an emergency room, and if the parking lot is big enough, you park there and you're not going to be noticed, because the security people, they don't know if you're inside, all hooked up to monitors and things, so nobody's going to knock on your door and ask you if you're sleeping there. Be stealth. Don't make yourself noticed, and leave early, very early. I don't like to be in hospital parking lots just because, apart from the fact that an eventual ambulance may come in with the sirens blasting, it makes me sad when I hear a helicopter coming down, because there is a person having the worst day of their lives there. So it is an emotional thing with me. Don't you mind me? It's just that I usually try to avoid hospitals because of that. Hotels. Those mid-range or lower-range hotels are a very good place to go and park and not be noticed. Unless they are in a big city like Seattle or San Francisco, where they give a pass to their guests to put on the windshield so security knows that that person is in the hotel. If that is the case, of course you're not going to have the pass, you're going to get a knock on your door. But that only happens in big cities, so look for hotels in areas where they have plenty of parking space and there are no homeless. I briefly mentioned in a past video a farm where I stayed that is part of the program with Harvest Host. Harvest Host is a website. They charge you $99 a year, and then you can stay, I think it is 2 nights for free, in many different farms and establishments of that sort. But I went there because it showed up in Compendium as a free site. And I read in the reviews in Compendium are great because you can read about the conditions of the road and many other juicy details that you need to make the decision to go there. And someone wrote in their reviews that if you are not a Harvest Host member, you can still stay there for 1 night for free. So since I had never done it, I went there. I bought a little bit of cheese to support them, that kind of thing. And I didn't like it because of the manure smell in the morning and because we were all crammed in. And the being crammed in is one of the biggest factors why I don't like campgrounds either. Campgrounds, you pay a lot of money and then you are next to each other, and it's a weird tribe. I know I don't belong in that type of crowd, and of course the farm was kind of that, so not my crowd. But now if you're okay with being close to each other. Of course, when you're in a farm, they don't allow you to camp outside of your vehicle, like make grill something there. No, you're not allowed to do that. Of course, you're on private land. There are some rules, which is okay with me. I am just not into that type of parking space. Rest stops. Usually they are close to big cities and they are great. Usually they do have a sign that says, please limit your stay to 8 hours or 6 hours or no overnight, whatever. If you're going to stay at a truck stop, please be mindful that those workers need their rest at night. So please try to park in a place where you are not taking any space between the trucks, so they do have room to park there and have a good restful night. Usually, as a friend of mine says, you have to commit a federal crime to be kicked out of a rest stop. They are very relaxed with their rules, but some people, of course, misbehaves. They take their grills out, they grill their sausages, and they stop at 3 a.m. and they start talking loudly and those kind of things. Sometimes it's not fun, but you do have great internet connection. When you are close to a city, in that one particular place, just because it was nice and cool, it is very probable that you are going to have lots of noisy people breaking glass and doing all the stupid things you would think teenagers do. They come, they make a huge bonfire, they all get drunk, and then they go home. So places near a city, boondocking places near a city, they are convenient for you, but they are not always the best idea. So if you do that, just make sure you're positioned in such a way that you can leave if you don't feel safe. Boondocking near cities is not a good idea. Sometimes it's just really convenient, so you just have to do it anyway. I think I covered everything but one thing. And this is not a place where you can actually spend the night. But I was in this town and they had this beautiful city park. I always go to city parks during the day because you can park hopefully under a tree and you have good cell reception and you can have your dinner or lunch. It's an easy, convenient place to be at if you leave Cracker Barrel early or Walmart early and you go there to prepare your breakfast. That is always a good idea. So they had this beautiful park. When you first drive in the park, there are some baseball fields and some other facilities and bathrooms and everything. But if you keep going, there is a huge loop all between trees, all among trees. And I saw there were some camper vans there. So obviously someone had the same idea, going to the city park to just relax during the day. So one day I was editing videos. I went there 2 or 3 days in a row, and one of those days I was comfortable there. I was having a good time with myself. I was editing videos and I lost track of time. So suddenly I realized it is 9 p.m., 9:10. So I go like, oh, I have to get out of here and go to my regular site for the night. I don't know if that one was a Walmart or something like that. The thing is, I was sure the park closed at 11 p.m. because that is what the sign outside of the park said. Park closes at 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. I will put up a photo. So it was 9:10. I thought, yeah, no problem. When I got to the gate, it was closed. So my first reaction was, okay, I can open the gate, leave, close the gate again. But I was thinking, if I do that, I am trespassing. I don't know, you let me know what you think, because I was already in the park, but of course back there from the gate you cannot see me because it was way back there. But if you say you close at 11, it is likely that someone overstays or stays up to 11. My reasoning was, I don't have the authority to open and close that gate. That was my reasoning. So I went back to where I had been, under the trees. But I was concerned because there was another sign there saying that if you violated the rules of the park, you would be prosecuted. So what I did is I took a photo of the gate closed, and that photo had a timestamp proving that I took the photo at 9:20 or whatever time it was by that time. And I took a photo the following morning when I left of the signs, and the one sign that says park closes at 11. Because if they see me for any reason, they see my plate, they send me a fine or something to the address where my plate is registered at, I have proof that I was locked up in the park. We know it is not technically locked up, but my reasoning was I don't have the authority to touch that gate. So I went back in, and the reason why I don't recommend, you may think, oh well, if nothing happened to you, I will do it. I will stay in that park, and if they close the gate, I don't care. The reason why I wouldn't recommend staying at night in one of those parks is because you are really exposed to someone breaking in your car, because you're not supposed to be there, so you're a little bit of a duck, ready for the targets, you know. You become a target. So I don't recommend that. But again, just make sure you document what happened to you, because if an authority comes and knocks on your door and says you shouldn't be here, well, the gate was closed and this is what the sign says, at least you have something to defend yourself. But it's not going to protect you against a criminal that sees there is a van there alone in the park and they may prey on you. So you let me know if you have stayed in any other kind of particular space that may be helpful to other campers. And thank you to my Patreons for being amazing people. Thank you so much. Remember, you have some articles I have written in the Patreon website. You can access them and read them. And thank you for your contribution. Thank you to everybody for being here. Give me a thumbs up if I think I deserve it. And otherwise, I love you anyway. So thank you and have a great day. Take care.